So because you think of us as white light, and then if you come through, the sun comes through the prism of the water droplets and it creates the rainbow. So the chakras are the colors of the rainbow, and when these colors get refracted back in, you return to light. So at the moment, we're trying to help you become as light as you can, because that's where the joy is, that's where the lightness is. So this is Louisa Garcia, and she called and said, Michelle, I have a lot of questions for your guides. So here we are today. I don't know what the questions are, so we're going to jump in and hear them. Is that right, Louisa? So yes. Some for me and some for the guide.
Okay, right. Bring it on, Louisa. Ready for these questions.
So my question is, am I speaking to, when we're speaking to your guides, are the guides, is it your higher self speaking, or is it a separate entity to that past
Okay,
life?
I think I'll break the first bit down. Yes. Do you want me or you want the guides?
Guide.
Yeah, oh, okay, great.
Well, yeah, yes. Straight to it.
Okay. Okay, the first question was, is it a guide or a higher self? Is that right? Yes, they are different. And sometimes when she's quiet, she works with her higher self. Yes. When she's teaching, she works with a guide. That's me. Okay. So some people could use that word as interchanging, but I can feel it quite differently. So when Michelle is more being contemplative and doing her journal writing and maybe looking for some poetry or that feels like her. So that's who she's talking to. And probably like friends, really, I kind of know, okay, that's the higher self. That's a more of a personal relationship that Michelle has, whereas I'm kind of a more friend.
Friend. Okay, that's lovely. Have you had any past human incarnations?
Past human incarnations? I'm not sure. I'll have a look. Well, look, I don't know.
You don't know.
Yes. So, but you would think so, to have such a benevolent connection to Earth, to want to come. Yes. So I would say, well, look, honestly, I don't know. Okay. But I think if you're a gambling person, you probably say yes.
I understand. So this leads on to the question that Phil would love me to ask, which is, and others, so when you come through, you speak with an accent.
Yes.
That is not Michelle's voice.
No.
So how can you explain that?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay, but I'll give it a go. Because remember when we say if you don't know, just give it a go. Yeah. Because just give it a go. Even when you start channeling, even when you start painting or singing, just give it a go. Because once you put that effort in there, we will find something and the answers will come. So you've got to give it a go. Okay, what was the question?
The question is, when you come through.
Oh yes, I remember. Yes. Okay.
You have a different voice to Michelle's voice.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Well, the main reason, I guess there's a few reasons. It's helpful to know who you're talking to. So that's helpful. But for us, when we're channeling, it sits in a different part of the mouth. So I need to come through the front of the mouth for her to get the voice working and to get the energy working. So when Michelle talks, the words are back here. For me, I have to go forward because I have to bring the it's like a whoosh of air. So you'll see if I'm not connected, I lose the guide. So the air has to go forward. Okay. So I don't know why it does that. I think it's just a way I can move the mouth. Yes. And I think probably your next question will be, is there different accents? You can feel it if you watch for a long time because there's 2 or 3 guides coming in really is what's happening. So generally you'll have the, my friend who I like to call the, Hong Kong, he's the entertainer, like I call, if you go to Cirque du Soleil or something like that, you have the funny acrobat or the clown who gets everybody warmed up. So we need to warm Michelle up really, and also her guest, because if you're coming in here and you're flat and you're not making your mind zip, then you're in a lower current like this. So we need to zip that current, and every time your mind gets thrown around with, it's like, that was funny, okay, that's sensible, that's normal or whatever, we can, like threading a needle, so we pick up that stitch of your energy. So even when you go, sometimes, you come for quite poignant conversations, your energy can go down and be sad. We have the stitches and we can come down with you and hopefully we can lead you back up. So we need to get those, does that make sense? Yes. So we need to be able to get the stitches of your frequency so we can hold you there.
So you need to have us at a higher frequency in order to connect with
us. Yes. So we like to send the warmer up in. Yes. Because if I came in, I think I'm funny too, but I don't know. So it's, thank you, Louisa. We like accolades too, just like the human life, but we don't get so hooked up in it. Yes, if I came through straight away, everybody's a bit soporific, you know. It's like, okay, this is all so serious. But if the funny one comes in, we have that upliftment. And really, this is why we're here, so you can feel uplifted. Okay?
So you consider yourself more of a male energy?
Yes.
Yes. And you're the spokesperson for the other, for kind of the spokesperson for the other entities that come through, or the other energies that come through?
Yes.
Yes.
We talked about this today, didn't we? About having with these gentlemen here today. So we talked about this. So I think spokesperson, I would say project manager.
Project manager.
I like that one.
Yes, yes.
So there's a panel here that have different expertises, and they will be actually sending you frequencies at the same time, because it takes a lot to hold energy. Whenever you're doing something, like if you've had to do something hard, like if you've had children and they've been doing something, maybe delivering a process at school or a project or something like that, then you know the mum has to be holding the energy, maybe the dad has to build something for you, maybe your brothers and sisters have to listen to it, maybe they tease you a little bit. There's never one person, you know, it's never just you to make anything. Even when you're cooking dinner, isn't it? You have the farmer, you have the delivery driver, you have the, you know, you have the sunlight. There's so many more energies that go into creating something. So, but you'll just see it when it gets on the table. You think, oh, these beans just arrived, but the beans never just arrive on your table. It's a whole process. Very good. I think there was a little bit more to that question.
And I've got blanks.
Did it answer the question? Oh, there's a panel. So we all have different expertises.
Yes, good.
I can't get that quite word right.
That's very
Anyway.
good.
Okay.
So I was going to say, do you have a name?
No,
Do you have a...
lots of people ask me.
I know.
I'm probably not going to answer it if you give me a name. I don't know why. But why do you need a name?
Does I guess it's to identify you as separate to Michelle, and it just
Yes.
makes it easier for the YouTube channel, for example,
Yes.
to say and to refer to you. As
Yes.
Because rather than Michelle's guides, you have a very distinct
Yes.
personality. So
It feels like that, but we're
Yes.
actually all one.
quite different. Yes,
We're all
you're
one. So if you were just saying, you just refer to the panel. So we're just happy for now with the guides that may came on later on. And for a while there, she was working with a guide called Thomas. I don't know where he went, but he was doing something else. So he had a different energy when she was doing something else, but she wasn't channeling then. So it has not been that the channels just arrived. They've been a progression all of her life, just like they will be for you. So you might hear your inner voice, and energy is moving so quickly now. It will not be, you think this is impossible for you, but I will tell you, you will all have somebody who can channel in some form in your household or your personal group. Whether that's, you firstly start by creating something. That's a wonderful way to channel energy, because energy likes to move through creation. Okay, good tip.
My next question is, how would you introduce yourself to a community of people who are watching you, who don't know Michelle and don't know what Michelle does? So how would you introduce yourself and the process that is unfolding before their eyes on YouTube?
Okay. Well, I wouldn't. I let him do it. Okay, I take you seriously. Okay, so how would I do it? Well, like that, quietly, you know, because it's not that we want to push ourselves onto people at all. It's really that you're already asking. We could not come if you were not asking for this frequency to come down. So even though you might think it's a little bit, what is that, or it feels strange, there's somewhere in your heart that you have asked or come into earth to say, it's like, I want to lift myself up higher. I want to be connected to something. I want to be whole. That's what I would say. I want to travel on a frequency of light. And as you know, the planet is changing. It's always changing, always evolving. It has the span that they're going in and out. And today, and at the moment, you're on a very interesting time in your planet. And so now is the time that you want to lift up. So even, you know, the Shiva who dances on the fire. Okay, you want to be the dancers on the fire, because why not? You don't want to succumb to it. So you use the fire, this energy of the solar plexus, which is your industrial age, as Matthew was talking about yesterday. You wanted to lift it up into the heart age, and you want to start speaking from the heart. And so this is a way of listening to yourself, listening to your words, and I'll just repeat what I said. You will all have a channel in your house somewhere who can get on the flow of energy and create betterment for you. And it's very exciting. We will really help you as time goes on. Thank you.
That sounds really exciting.
Oh, it is.
Yes, that's good.
That's why we're here. I like something that you brought up, and I would like to speak to that. So there are many thousands of guides, and you can go on YouTube or all over, and you can find guides right back to Edgar Cayce, who's the first probably Western guide. But you would see it in oracles or anything through time. This is not new. It is absolutely not new. There is meant to be a connection between your spirit and yourself, and it's coming closer and closer. And this is a wonderful opportunity for you. When it comes to guides of the world, there are much better guides that can do that. I'm a guide for the householder. I am a guide for the home. I'm a guide for healing, health, well-being, and to help you grow good communities. That's what I'm interested in. And my background is in, Michelle, she just can't take it seriously when I say this, but it's just what it is. She just has to live with it. My background is engineering. So I like to put situations together to create more light. Michelle thinks, oh my gosh, I can't even, put a light bulb in. I'm not sure what engineers do. But it's not like that. So the other thing is that she's liked all her life is astrology, because when we look at the astrology, it's frequencies coming together. And the more you can learn about yourself, then you know when your frequency can contribute to the world or when you can receive something beautiful. So they're the two parts that we really like, but we like to apply it to households.
So that's really lovely. So, for example, do you prefer people to ask you questions, or do you give information based on what you see? Hence the chakra reading, for example, gives you permission to talk about what you see happening in people's lives.
Yes, I like that question. It's very good. So I like both. What will usually happen is I will usually say, what do you want to know? What would you like to know? And then I do all the talking. So that's quite not true, but it's pretty true. Once I get the thread, because I want to give you as much information as I can at the time. However, I've said this a couple of times, I'm not a clairvoyant. I can't tell you what's happening in your future. But what I'm looking for when we come in is this heart frequency, because if you can give me something that you really desire, then we can just put it down on the chakra readings, and what you have in front of you is a picture of how to get back home, how to get to this thing that you really desire. Of course, when you're coming into us, we will look at your highest desires and what's like that, because we're looking at how you can become light. And so if you're looking at one thing and you think, well, how do I get that? Maybe we'll put in other colors so that will make everything lighter for you. But what you get at your chakra reading is a depiction of what you're desiring at this moment, or a snapshot of where you are. Because once you get this picture, we all have the same goal. It's happy, healthy, and to be a well-being, so to be a light being. So to get that, you need all the colors coming together to be the same size and the same frequency. So because you think of us as white light, and then if you come through, the sun comes through the prism of the water droplets, and it creates the rainbow. So the chakras are the colors of the rainbow, and when these colors get refracted back in, you return to light. So at the moment, we're trying to help you become as light as you can, because that's where the joy is, that's where the lightness is. So once you have a chakra reading, you have a map of where those colors are, and then we just apply knowledge on how to put them back into the center.
I love that. That was excellent.
Great.
That explains it so well to me.
Good.
I love the visual metaphors, because that makes so much sense. Of course, we're light.
We're
and
light.
then we enter this prism and it gets displayed, and then
That's
we want
right.
the colours to come back together.
Yes.
So that we...
Yes.
Yes.
We simply forget. That's all that happens. We simply forget. And how do you return home? Does anybody know what home is? It's the home that is important to you, the things that you love, the things that you feel safe, the things where you're comfortable, the things that feel joy, the place where you feel free. So always you're returning back to that place. And when you come to us, sometimes we think, we have these words in English. I think we might improve them, but we say, it's for growth, it's for betterment. Sometimes you can think, well, maybe I'm doing something wrong. We never look at it like that. We just look at it as delight, like a small child going to play in the sandcastle and then makes something and likes to let it go, and then builds another one and let it go. Because, how boring would it be if you had the same old sandcastle there every day, Universe is going to come and take it anyway. So this is really what's happening in your time now. You get to choose consciously, what do I want to grow, create? What do I want to grow, create? You have to let it go. So, because if you don't, the wave's going to come come in anyway. So the next moment you have a new opportunity though. So that's why energy reading is good, because you can see where you are and then you can go, okay, I can let it go. But when you don't quite reach it, that's where your frustrations are. And then you're always kind of locked in some patternings of the chakras. So identifying the patternings where you are helps you to free them.
So do you see through Michelle's eyes, or are you separate to Michelle?
That's a good question. When I first came, it was very difficult for me to see and it was very difficult for me to move. So I'm getting more in tune with her body. And I think you saw before I did a bit of moving in the body. When I started, I couldn't do that. I had to be very still, had to only be in the massage room, had to, do this. But as we get used to each other, I can move and see through her eyes. So, yes, so I can see, but I can't, like I know there's books over there, I know there's people there and all of those things. But when I do that, I come back more into Michelle. So I'm more like looking on the inner screen and listening with the inner ear.
Okay.
Is that helpful? Maybe you need another question.
So, this leads me to this whole rabbit hole. So you have a separate existence to Michelle.
Oh, yes.
So you come in when she needs you, but you have your own existence and
Yes.
you're doing your own thing
Yes.
elsewhere.
I would put it more this way, more likely Michelle doing her own thing. So we are here because we can't go anywhere. So you're thinking of us as a person, but we're a frequency, just like a radio.
Oh, okay.
You have to think of it like that. But sometimes Michelle just tune off. She think, okay, I've had enough for you. Because you're human. You can't hold the frequency the whole time.
Yes.
We understand that. So first she sometimes likes to go away and says, oh, don't talk to me. Well, she says that to lots of things. Oh, shut the door, But that's so she can recharge and do her thing. And also because we recognize that it is the people who create. It takes a lot of energy to do that, no matter what you're creating. So you will need downtime because you're having to use your own energy to hold the field. It doesn't matter what you're creating, whether you're working and you're creating buildings, or you're working and creating photography like you do, or houses, or magic, what Phil does. Whether you're creating that takes energy. Phil laughing, he doesn't think he creates magic. But that's really what you're creating. So sometimes you think at the end of the day, I've done my job, I've done my share. And so it's really, you can reflect, because life is not about being a monotonous stream. It's about coming together for the dance, and then you do your little work. And just like having a rest when you go to bed with the body, isn't it? You're still in your body, you're still alive, but you're not being animated, you're still there. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
It does. So are you incarnated on a different frequency, perhaps?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's happened in your past a lot.
Yes.
And how people have come through, and people have a resonance of unfinished business from reincarnations. We're not that. We have definitely come from a higher realm to help.
If you're not human, because you talk of Michelle as saying being
Yes.
human all the time, does that mean that you are an alien? But alien is also an incarnation, because
Yes.
So if you're saying you're not incarnated, then you would not be
Yes.
alien either. So
Yes.
you're a step further
Yes.
up from that.
Yes. Do you know your film with the blue people?
Which one?
Avatar.
Yes,
Avatar,
thank you.
Avatar, thank you.
And it's like that, but reverse. It's the reverse of that. So if you imagine us, we're actually the beings, and then we have to come into a human body. If you think of it like that.
Okay, that's
Yes.
cool. All right, it's fine.
Yes.
We'll have to go away and ponder that further.
Oh, yes, good.
So, well, I've answered all the questions that I had about that. So I'll talk to Michelle further now about, getting all that into three-dimensional communication that other humans can understand.
Thank you, Louisa.
You're
Great
welcome.
job.
Thank you.
Great job.